top of the hour. Just hoping that Ken pops up in here. Hopefully you didn't forget me. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with me. And I'm going to do a pretty good job because I'm pretty familiar with these new features, but I'd love to have him in here. So we're just going to give him a minute to hop on in. The YouTube channel name, just hoping you can. The YouTube channel name is just Inside Real Estate. And actually, I'll drop to you guys the replay link because I did get the stream started. So everybody who's watching right now, we'll drop you the link. If you're watching the replay on YouTube right now, just fast forward a few minutes. We're just going to get some things out of the way here and we'll get started in just a few at the top of the hour. So, and if you happen to comment on YouTube, we'll get to that as well. So let me just get rid of this other window. Where's my buddy Ken? Oh, you know what? That's a mistake I make all the time. Let's try that again. Here's that link to the YouTube. There's this in Zoom. There's this all panelists and attendees like little drop down. It's the most confusing thing ever. If you forget to hit everybody, then nobody gets what you drop there. All right, guys, we'll get started in just a minute. I'm gonna give Ken one more minute to hop on in. Hi, Glenn. So again, the topic today is our spring release features tour and Q&A. We've launched a lot of new stuff here. kvCORE the last few days. Last few weeks, last few days. Yeah, there should be volume, Selka. Can you hear me? I'm just, we're just getting started here, guys. Just one more minute. All right. Hey, Dennis. All right. I'm just going to get started. Hopefully we'll get Ken, but no big deal if not. Let's go ahead here. It is being recorded. The link is dropped in the chat there. It'll be on our YouTube video. That's the last time I'm going to answer that question for a little while. But here, I'm going to hit record and we will get started. Hi, Barry. Greetings from Southwest Florida. I'm in St. Pete. Let's get started. Okay, guys, so welcome to today's webinar, Spring Release Features Tour and Q&A. A lot of our webinars are kind of how-tos. This is going to be more of a straight-up kind of demo of the new stuff. There's actually been a whole lot dropped with kvCORE, I'd say, in the last 2 to 4 weeks or so. So I'm going to do my best here to walk you through the new features. We should have Ken, our product VP of Product, on here shortly with me as well. We're going to walk through the new CRM dashboard, stroll through the contact details. Ken is asking me for the link, so excuse me, I'm going to grab that for him. I thought he had the link. Here we go. Oh boy, here we go. We're going to walk through the contact page, the playbooks, ponds, date-based campaigns, and core present. Ken is now surfacing, which is a good thing. There we go. Okay. So just a little housekeeping here, guys. Please do use the chat for questions, as a lot of you are doing. There's about 300 of you guys on right now, so the questions can get a little overwhelming for us as we present. So we'll do our best to get to them either live or we'll circle back and get to them later. Also, try to be positive in the chat. We get some trolls sometimes, and it's just not cool. So try to be positive. You know, we're all trying to do business here. So as positive as you can be as positive as possible. Replay will be at insiderealestate.com/webinars. And don't forget about our Facebook group, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. Ken, I wonder if you can hear me yet. I'm just checking to see if you're there. All right. Okay, so I'm going to jump on in now to kvCORE. I was hoping to get some backstory from Ken, which he'll probably give us in a second. There he comes. All right.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, there you are. Just in time. Okay, you had me sweating there because I was going to do fine. I was going to do fine strolling, but I would have missed about 30% of the good stuff, which you're going to bring.
I'm sorry, I clicked the link like 4 times. I'm finally in. Hey, everybody.
All right, so you got a nice audience here, Ken, and you're just in time. Why don't you give us the backstory on this release? Here, I got the slide up here.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. So my name's Ken. A lot of you have either seen me or talked to me or heard me talk before. And, you know, I've been here at Inside Real Estate for 4.5 years. So I was here when we kind of came up with the idea of kvCORE, all the way through the initial build of kvCORE. And what happened was, at some point after the initial release of kvCORE, we started to hear this feedback again and again and again that kvCORE has so many cool features and a lot of lesser known features and things that are just hard to find. We would hear agents specifically say things like, man, I'm never going to learn all this. And so we put our heads together, and our designer, Brandon, he and I kind of camped in a room for a few days, and we just said, we're not going to come out of here until we have, the vision for what kvCORE needs to be. We need it to be easier to use. We need it to have more powerful tools than any other tool set in the industry. And we need to be able to roll this out in a way that we can make fast updates and have more of a simple process for taking your feature requests and acting on them. And so we came out of there with a few things. Number one was this idea of playbooks. And playbooks is really meant to be a much better way to use kvCORE. For playbooks to work, we realized that we had to redesign some of the parts of kvCORE that are most important. And we had to re-architect it so that it was fit for what we call components. So one of the things that you're going to see when we talk today is we're going to talk about some of these upgraded components. Just as an example, anywhere that you can put in an MLS ID in kvCORE, you can now just search by address. So you don't have to memorize MLS IDs anymore. You can just start typing an address, and a list of all the listings will come up, and you can click it, and the system will take it and put in the MLS ID for you. So that's just a very small example of this great vision we had. And for some of you, kvCORE doesn't look too different than it did before, right? The design is, sure, it's a little bit cleaner, but we didn't go and move a whole bunch of things on you. And that's because we wanted to get the architecture in place. And now you can see we're slowly starting to introduce some really cool things. So I know Ryan kind of pulled up the agenda there. There are a lot of things to talk about today. I know we're going to have a lot of questions, but this is kind of how the whole thing began. So here we are. Let's do this.
Sorry, I just want to remind everybody, we're probably not going to have time to answer all your questions about specific features. So this isn't the best place to hit Ken up for feature requests. Maybe we'll do a separate session about that, Ken. But we'll do our best to get to your comments. And Ken, I think at this point, let's just jump right into the new CRM and dashboard and get to the good stuff.
Yeah. And there's a good comment I see in there. For those of you who kvCORE maybe has been too daunting, those of you who are new, or those of you who've been around for a long time, it doesn't matter. This is a great time just to sit back and say, let's pretend I don't know anything about the system. Let's learn together, right? And so the questions that you ask will really help us understand where we hit the nail on the head and some places where we definitely still need to improve. So we want to hear all of that today. Let's start with this dashboard. Should we, Ryan?
Sure.
Talk about the dashboard a little bit. So
yep.
This dashboard, for those of you who have been with us through this journey the last couple months, this dashboard has changed 3 or 4 times. The first thing we did is we took this activity stream and we shrunk it up, and we heard from everybody almost like, hey, give me that full screen, nice wide view. I want to see everything that people are doing on my website. I want to see all my text. That needs to be front and center. So the activity stream there has stayed very full screen. On the far right, Ryan, if you mouse over that little last updated, there's a refresh button on the activity stream down there. So down on the right. So this will tell you the last time we pulled in fresh new data. So if you're like me, you've got kvCORE up in a browser and you're doing other things and you're just checking back every once in a while. What you don't want is every time you click a button in kvCORE, the whole thing has to reload all the data. So this will refresh for you. Every 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how many contacts you've got in your account. But if you want to refresh it as often as you want, just go ahead and click that button. So that's what that does. The other thing we did is we moved around a few things up here up above. So for those of you who like to save links in your company cloud, that's over there now. There's a little drop down in the top right for company cloud. We've got this beautiful thing called playbooks that's front and center. We've got one playbook ready for you to use and a whole bunch more that are in development right now. And this is just a chance for everyone to kind of, wet their beak a little bit and test playbooks out. You're going to see that it's a really powerful thing. So some changes to the dashboard. And then Ryan, if you just click on one of those contacts right there, Chelsea Burkhart.
Just right here.
Yeah. This will pull up the new contact details screen. This is something we put a lot of thought into. Ryan was pretty instrumental in providing some feedback. A lot of you, we actually hopped on Zoom meetings with some of you and said, hey, tell us what kind of things you do. How do you spend your time? You can see front and center, on the left at the very top, it says this is a private contact, right? So for those of you who are on a team, or those of you who are in an office where you don't necessarily work with your office administrator very much and you want to mark this private, this reminds you, hey, this one is private. On the far right, you've got all of the actions you can take, right? So all the great things that we have in here, like building a core presentation, sending a core video, a quick call or text or whatever it is. And then, of course, we've kept this middle section for the timeline. So everything that you do or everything that your contact does will still be logged right here. Now, one of the biggest pain points that we heard from you guys is, hey, how do I see at a glance what alerts I have set up, what market reports I have? That's, if you scroll down on the right side over there, everything that is set up to be automated and delivered in an automated fashion is tracked right here. So you've got 2 alerts on this contact. You've got an active campaign, and you've got a market report that's set to send out every 28 days with a big send now button. Same thing on the seller report and core present. Everything that is automated in terms of sending them data or new listings is going to be here on the right. So
Perfect.
As you orient yourself with this page, you can see if we ever add anything new, you can kind of guess where it's going to go because we've bucketed these things. Now, the last thing I'll say is if you go to profile details, it's a tab up there on the top, right under the main contact name.
You're blowing up on Slack over there. Profile details. Yep.
Yep. Let me mute that. If you hit edit details, now you can edit just everything. You can edit, all of these fields all at the same time. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. Very useful. You get like a full view of everything that has to do with the contact info in one page. Yeah.
Yep. So we've added a couple new fields here. I'll post a link to some of our articles that highlight those, but for the most part, the layout just so much easier, I think. So
yeah, great,
cool. I'm just digging through some of the comments here, just seeing.
Yeah, we can get to some of these. It's probably a good time. Just let's see. Any plans to add the year to dates on the timeline? Yeah, the year to the dates.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yep, that's I'm going to jot that one down. Let me go look at that.
And we'll have a transcript of all these comments, so you'll be able to comb through later, so you don't have to write them down now. Dash CMA, I don't think is in Canada yet, but I'm not 1,000% sure.
Yeah,
it was coming.
I know we did some work for it. Let me see if we've officially launched there or not. But yeah, great question. We do have plans to have Dash CMA live there.
Now, Ken, if somebody doesn't see this on their new kvCORE, does that mean they need to switch in the dashboard? Is this option still here?
Yeah. So let me tell you, for a very small handful of brokerages, there are some of our clients who have some interesting custom integrations, right? So if you're an agent with Weichert, as an example, Weichert has not had a full rollout of this yet. And so only some of their agents are able to see the switch now. But anyone who doesn't have it yet, know that it will be coming within the coming weeks. It's just a matter of working with your brokerage to make sure we've tested all of the different data integration points. So for those of you who log in in some separate system and click over to kvCORE, that's an example of a data integration that there may be a couple of you that don't have it yet.
Great. Question about Nosy Neighbor being added to Marketplace soon. NosyNeighbor.com does have the info on that, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
On the profile, let's go back to a contact. Where is the email? Where's the email? So It's right here, right?
Yep.
So you can just click in each one. I also noticed, Ken, if I accidentally clicked on that private contact, you can actually toggle that right there by clicking on it, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So, but definitely, guys, one of the key things to do here is kind of just go in and start clicking around. It's because just to get familiar and just to become aware of all the many things that even the contact record and in general what kvCORE can do.
And honestly, if you haven't done it yet, go set up an alternate email for yourself as a contact in your system. Set up the market report, set up the home valuation report, set up the seller report, so that those things are hitting your inbox frequently and you're seeing exactly what you're sending out, right? Because one of the most common pieces of feedback we get is, hey, I got a question on how this number is calculated on this market report. Well, first of all, we have an article that explains that. But second of all, if you're looking at it frequently, it's going to be really easy for you just to respond to it.
Very cool.
Great. Should we go to playbooks here, Ryan? I know.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm going to go here in the middle, right, to playbooks, and I'm going to click right on promote new listing. Ken, I know that playbooks is also available right here in the top left of the navigation, right?
Yeah.
So
Speaking of navigation, we should probably talk about the change
Yeah.
in navigation. So on the left side, we've moved to sort of this nested navigation. The biggest change, I think, is under Smart CRM. If you have saved a bunch of quick filters, the first, I want to say 7 quick filters will show up right there in that list. So anyway, that's really handy. If you don't know how to set up a quick filter, just go into Smart CRM and click on filters. It'll be pretty obvious that you can save a filter.
Yeah, it's a key thing. And then your key lists are always at your fingertips. I know a lot of people log into kvCORE and they right away will go through, say, anybody who's a new lead in the last 2 days, and they might have a filter that lets them see that right there. So.
Yeah. The other thing, we're looking at this playbooks page, and we've designed this page so that you have this nice little description. On the right are sort of your help and your settings, and then down below is all of your content. We did the same redesign for the marketing autopilot page, which is now just called marketing, lead engine page, and web and IDX page. They all look just like this. So the sort of the marketing tools are going to be down below, and the settings are going to be up in the top right. So all these pages, again, this was something that was long overdue, is just let's make everything look and feel very familiar so that you know where to go.
And I've noticed too, you probably mentioned this before, but it's a little faster too with the way it's been redesigned.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Let me just say, this wasn't a redesign. This was a full re-architect of the bones of kvCORE. So we are set up well for the next 10 years here.
Great. So let's go back to playbooks, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to hop into our first one, the promote a listing playbook, and I'll let you kind of walk us through, right?
Yeah. So let me add a nice little asterisk as we get started here. The promote a listing playbook, I've had several agents reach out and say, hey, when are you going to have more playbooks that are more relevant to the current market situation? And my response is always, are you saying that in this current market, you're not promoting your listing? Because one of the best ways for you to get or find and acquire new sellers is by marketing your current listing, right? So if you're an agent who's lucky enough to have a listing in this market, where inventory is pretty low in some areas, you want to get in and use this playbook, because you want to leverage every tool kvCORE has to get your name and your listing out there. It's not just about finding buyers, right? It's about hitting up even your current sphere. We've got some cool tools for doing that in here to find potential sellers. So make sure and look at it in that way. So again, you can do this with your own listings. If you have permission from other agents in your brokerage, you can even do this with their listings. And
so the way to do that is to toggle right here at the top left to see everybody's listings. Okay.
Yeah, and if you're a team lead, you should be able to easily see all your team listings as well. I highly recommend considering doing that, especially if you're an agent who doesn't have an active listing right now. Find someone in your office who does, get permission to market it, because we're going to show you some cool stuff here. So to get started, just click Start Promoting on any of those listings.
Okay.
And you're going to see kind of 3 tabs in here. The first is the tab that has all your plays, all the things you can do. The second one is the results that came from those plays. And the third is really cool. It's called Quick Sheet. So after you've done this a few times and you don't need us to walk you through it, you can just jump right to the Quick Sheet and grab your links. And there's a couple reminders here like, hey, you haven't contacted all your matching buyers, things like that. But if you just wanted to say, hey, I just want to grab the squeeze page link for this, this is a really easy place to go grab it.
Great.
So here we are on the plays. On the left side, you can see the plays. We've got them sort of lumped in different categories. And then on the right, that's where you actually take some action, where we're going to ask you to either type up an email or just approve the one that we've got in there. This first one is pretty darn cool. If I'm on a team, let's say I'm an agent here. So I'm here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I've got a little EXP office just down the street here, right? And there's a small EXP team, 5 agents. One of them gets a new listing. I want to send out a notification to all the agents on my team. This will send them an email with a picture of the listing. And the coolest thing is in that email, see that email template down there? It says promote a listing playbook. Yeah, it's actually got a button in the email that says find matching buyers. What this does, so let's say Ryan is on my team. He receives this email. He clicks that button, find matching buyers, and it pulls up kvCORE and it filters his smart CRM for contacts that have search alerts that may match this listing. So if Ryan has 100 contacts in his CRM that are looking for listings in Canyon Rim neighborhood, then Ryan just can click that and he can send them all a text real quick and say, hey, there's a new listing that just hit the market in Canyon Rim. I've got the inside scoop. Text me back if you want to go see it, right?
So I'm gonna back up and kind of say that again. So first off, we have this notified agents option. So you can select other agents in your office. Did you say that I could select other offices using kvCORE that aren't my office, or was I hearing that wrong?
Yeah, so it depends on the account. So most of our accounts, as long as you are in the office, you can select it. If you're not in the office, it's not going to let you pick it.
Okay.
So
let's say I want to send everybody in my office, or even a specific agent in my office, this notification that I have a new listing. I can send this email out, and then when they get the email, they can look for matching buyers in their kvCORE database.
Yeah, you got it.
Cool. So really handy for you admins, or for you top producers who have a lot of listing inventory, which is pretty much nobody right now. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, really handy for getting the word out about your listing to other agents and showing agents. Yeah.
So Lindsay says this is sort of like reverse prospecting in the MLS. It's similar, right? We have another tool. Someone asked about manually added listings for coming soon or pocket listings. We have a different tool that allows you to do almost the same thing called Pitch Sheet. We won't talk about that today, but go Google kvCORE Pitch Sheet and you'll see that. The next step here, Ryan, contact matching buyers.
Yeah.
So that same thing, that email that I sent to Ryan, and I gave him the option to contact his buyers. This is my option for my own CRM. So if you're one of those agents that's just been collecting contacts over the years and you've got 4,000 contacts in your CRM, this is your opportunity to go and send an email to anyone who has ever shown any interest in a listing like this in that area. So, and by the way, a little tip for you guys, here within the next few weeks, we're going to be releasing a button on the Smart CRM to quickly find matching buyers as well. So this idea of finding matching buyers has been a big hit so far, and we are going to implement this in a few other places.
Very cool. So you can basically select a smart list that you. Okay, so the smart list will look through the contacts and find people that the system thinks might be interested based on their search behavior, and then a custom list is where you can filter based on filters you already have or hashtags you have.
That's correct. That's correct. So this is your opportunity to send an email, or in this case, a core video, which highly recommend using the core video. If you want, just send it to a saved filter, send it to a hashtag, or use the kvCORE Smart List. So
perfect. And then you can send a text message or an email. You can control the text of the email, and you can also use core video if you have the add-on.
Yep.
And then same for the email right here. You can select an existing email template or just change. Can you change it in line here, Ken? Actually,
no, but you can. So if you click edit,
right? Okay, here we go.
It'll actually pull it up, and yeah, you can go ahead and change it.
Perfect.
But yeah,
really cool.
Again, and we recommend. This actually came from Ryan. We recommend doing the text message because it sends right away. And then the scheduled email, you can choose to hit them a few hours later or the next morning or whatever it is. That way you're staggering your communication.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I can see this actually being pretty useful for anybody doing brokers opens. I don't know how much of that is going on right now, but you're going to select a bunch of agents. You can say, hey, we're doing an event at the property. Come see it before we list it, and then you can schedule it to go out maybe that the day before or something.
Absolutely, that's a good call.
Yeah, and all this stuff with the listing promotion in particular, I know a lot of people are using an assistant to kind of run through a listing servicing sequence. This is something you can hand to them and just say, hey, run through the listing playbook, and they're going to be able to bust out these tasks pretty quickly and efficiently.
That's such a good point. That is such a good point. And that this way they don't miss anything either, right? They've contacted agents, they've contacted folks in your CRM. This next one, a custom text code. So this is a feature that exists in kvCORE today, but we're putting it here at the forefront and just giving you some ideas as to how you can use it. But here's a specific text code already spun up for this listing. Go ahead and put it anywhere, right? You pair that with your smart number, say, hey, text this code to here, and it will spit back a link to the listing specifically on your website.
Yeah. So that probably the most useful but most underutilized kvCORE marketing feature, in my opinion, because when somebody texts this, of course, you're getting their cell number right away. So if you're not already putting a custom text code on your listing riders, or if you're still doing print, newspaper ads, put the text code underneath the picture of the house and say, hey, for more price and pics, text the code. This is all surfaced for you right here in kvCORE. It's really easy to use. You just do text code 49 Mountain and then to your text code. Little suggestion for you, Ken. I noticed this the other day. It'd be useful if we had a little thing that said the smart number here, like the language to use quickly. Because
I thought the exact same thing. And we should put the smart number here.
I can never remember my smart number. All right. So that's awesome. Let's click through to the leverage social media option now, right?
Well, yeah, these are things you're all familiar with. So we have several options here. The first one is Property Boost. Ryan could probably talk about Property Boost all day. If you're not using it, you got to use it. Let me give you a little insider information. We actually have a very unique relationship with Facebook, where we actually do some data sharing. Facebook is actually feeding a machine learning algorithm with some very interesting data that we're sending them. Don't worry, it's anonymized data. They're not getting any personal data from us, but it's more about success data, right? Success metrics for ads. And so if you use Property Boost, you are getting a very different and much more optimized ad experience specific to your kvCORE website than you could get anywhere else. Most people, I'll hear a lot of people that say, well, why can't I just do this on my own with the Facebook Ads Manager? You can. You can definitely go do this, but man, use Property Boost, because there is a whole layer of machine learning that exists in here that does not exist in any other product, by the way, in the industry.
Yeah, that and to actually do what Property Boost does, where it shows a lead form inside of Facebook and then injects the data into kvCORE. It's pretty cumbersome to set that up. You'll need a third-party app like Zapier, and it's technical. Where here you can just click a button, get it done, and have leads coming in off your listings right away. Property Boost also will notify your sellers, if you want it to, about the exposure that it's getting. And yeah, like Ken said, we could go on with Property Boost for a whole hour, but I'll just kind of reference the documentation we have at kvCORE. You can go into the kvCORE marketplace and check that out for more details.
Very cool. Go ahead, man.
This next section I was really excited about, because this digital promotion, this kind of shortcuts some of the things we all do when we want to promote a listing, but it just surfaces it right here. So like the squeeze page, Ken, I love that it kind of just gives you a link right away to the single property page.
Yep.
So you can just promote this. You'll see here at the end, this little parameter view timing means that it's going to make people register after the second view. You can quickly post to Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest the listing. So really run through that. Again, if your admin's doing this for you, so easy. They just click each one, get it on your socials. A landing page for the property. These look really cool. And this is kind of a new thing, right, Ken? A new template.
Yeah, we actually designed a brand new landing page for this.
So I'll bring it up here.
Yeah, if you just pull that up. So this is a unique landing page that you're not going to get if you just go and try to create a landing page on your own. It's one we've tested a few different versions of for conversion rate. It's pretty darn good, honestly. So, squeeze page, landing page. And then if you have the ability in your market to auto post to Craigslist, you can do that from here as well.
Yep, you'll want the Craigslist Chrome extension hooked up. We're getting a lot of questions, guys. Again, we can't go. We'll be here all day if we go into every little thing. We'll do our best to circle back after and get to specific questions. I will just reference right now that we have our support.insiderealestate.com where you can search all articles for specific things. So if you want more details about Property Boost, you want to know more about how to build your own landing page, things like that, all that info is in here for you to find. Yep. So
check it out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So next section here in the listing playbook, we have follow up and communicate, right? So
yeah. So two important things here. If you don't know what a seller report is, this is an email that gets sent to your seller and kind of builds you up and tells them all these cool things that you've been doing to promote their listing, the fact that you've been generating leads, and even says, hey, here's how many views the listing has gotten on this agent's website. And little pro tip for you, we actually add up views from your listing across any website, anywhere that we can get a hold of. And that's what we tell you, or that's what we tell them in the email. So yeah, okay. Ryan's got an example of what that looks like right there.
So if I have other agents in my market with kvCORE sites, it'll show the statistics for online views across.
That's right.
Okay, which is fine. It just makes it look like you're doing the promotion and giving the seller an idea, but the other agent has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, cool. I know we're moving quickly here, everyone, and I apologize, but we've got some great stuff to cover.
We got a lot to get through.
This one on the smart campaign. What it is we've actually created a campaign. If you click use default, we've got a campaign here that will work really well specifically for this playbook. And so we've made a couple tweaks to that campaign. And this will just ensure that any lead that comes in from any of the work you've done so far will be on this campaign. So,
okay. So if I promote the landing page and somebody opts in, they'll get this campaign.
You got it. Any lead you generate from the squeeze page, the landing page, even Property Boost, those will all get this campaign.
But you also do have the option to just go ahead and put your own template in.
You got it.
That's great. All right, so that was a lot, but this is a sneak peek of what's coming with kvCORE, because this is just one playbook, and Ken and his team are working on a nice handful of these that are going to be dripped out over the coming year or so, right?
Yeah. Ken. Yep, that's right. So our next batch of playbooks is going to be all about working your sphere and powering up your sphere of influence. So good stuff coming in the fall. So go get in there, dig in, get used to playbooks. This format is what we're going to use for all the other playbooks. We got a whole bunch coming later this year.
Yeah. And guys, this is recorded. InsideRealEstate.com/webinars is our YouTube playlist. So it is actually streaming on the YouTube channel right now as well. So the recording will be instantly available to you and your team. All right. So that was playbooks. What do we got next?
Let's talk about pond accounts.
Okay.
Ponds. So if you go to Smart CRM, those of you who are an office or a team admin, you're going to see a little button here in Smart CRM. So go ahead and click all contacts, Ryan.
Okay. Yep.
You'll see a button in the top right that says create pond. By the way, that little what's this link is a video that Ryan put together that talks to you about ponds. So there's a lot of benefits to creating, to having a pond. Really, kvCORE does not make it super easy for a group of 3, 4, 5, 10 agents to share a pool of leads. When we say pond, that's what we're talking about is here's a group of leads that a bunch of agents or even just one agent could have access to. Now, a pond is not a place where you want to put hot leads necessarily, unless you have agents that are very active and going and looking right there in kvCORE all the time for hot leads. A pond is a place where you want to put leads that maybe are warm or cold. And so a couple different use cases, Ryan, we can talk about this because Ryan and I get really jazzed about ponds. Ponds is a great place to upload lists, as an example. If you're buying, you've got a friend at a title company, or you're buying divorcees or relocation lists, you can upload all of those, throw them in a pond, and add 3 agents and say, hey, I just added you guys to my pond that has relocation lists in it, and they can go and sort of fish in the pond and try to get some leads. Now, what are the parameters here? So Ryan has pulled up the create pond.
And Ken, if I can stop you real quick, just a 10,000 foot view of ponds is basically a place where leads can be aggregated for multiple people on your team to claim them. Is that a good way to say that?
Yeah, that's good. It's a way for a group of agents to get access to a group of leads.
Right. So as an admin, you can route leads to a pond. Say if you're paying for a lead source, like dare I say Zillow, or you're using one of our marketplace options or your own, PPC, instead of having agents kind of pick them off one at a time, the pond will allow it to be sort of a situation where agents are competing to pick up the leads. And then Ken's going to walk us through here some of the really cool options we have related to that. Yep.
So let's take Ryan's example. Let's say I'm paying for leads from a source, and instead of routing them to my agents, I'm routing them to a pond. Well, I want to make sure those leads get taken care of. So I can set up some settings here in the pond that say things like, hey, if an agent comes in and claims this, they better have some outbound communication to them within, let's say, 1 day or 3 days. So Ryan, you could toggle that second one on, and now your pond basically has a rule on it. So no one can come and take any of these leads unless they're going to communicate them with them within 3 days. If you scroll down, there's some other ones. You guys will understand these, right? So we require a contact attempt every so often, or first contact has to be within 1 day. Whatever it is, you can turn on all of these, and now you have rules for your pond. So
yeah, this was a heavily requested feature for team leaders and admins. And I think, it speaks to one of the biggest problems with real estate lead generation in general is that we can't, and it helps you too as a sole agent, we can't all be available to reply to a lead efficiently every minute of the day. So this gives your office and your team a level of efficiency where that somebody who's available is proactively grabbing the lead and they're going to call them. But if you're not available and you won't be assigned a lead, so to speak.
So Ryan, I think before we go to the next step here, do you want to X out of this and actually click on one of the ponds that you have access to there?
Yep. So I'll go up to the top here.
Because I want to talk about this for a quick second. So a pond, Ryan, if you scroll down, a pond is really just a group of leads that you have access to go in and grab. Now, what that means is these leads do not actually have an assigned agent right now. So if there's no assigned agent, you might freak out and say, well, who's emailing and texting these people? The magic of ponds is if you put leads into a pond, they still are going to get their search alerts. They're still going to get their behavioral automation. They're still going to you can still have a campaign that goes out to all of these. And the way that happens is when you set up the pond, you have to pick an agent to be the one whose name is on everything, right? So if Ryan and I, again, he and I are sharing a pond with a relocation list, and I say, you know what, Ryan is going to be my appointed agent for all the outbound communication. That way, anything I push into the pond, they're still getting their search alerts. They're still getting, their market reports. Anything that they are signed up for, they're still going to keep getting those things. So I think that's the beauty of the kvCORE pond is that automation continues even when they're in the pond.
And then when the agent takes the lead over, the communications start coming from them.
That's right. So Ryan, if you go,
I'll go into Dogecoin here because somebody spelled Dogecoin wrong. I gotta fix this. It's driving me nuts. Doge. Just kidding. So where do you want me to go?
Just scroll down, and on the bottom left there, you'll see that you can claim. Let's see. Oh, it's already been claimed. If you actually go back, Ryan, to the main screen, on the far right, you see that assign button.
Yep.
Because you're signed in as an admin, you can actually pick who you assign this to. So
gotcha. You guys are seeing the admin view right now, but as the end user agent, you'll see leads in the pond that you can claim from your office, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So as an agent, I can go in and I can click claim, or as an admin, I can go in and I can click assign, and I can assign these to certain agents. This is great, especially if you have a brand new agent, who doesn't really have much of a sphere, doesn't have a book of business really yet. You can just kind of tee up a bunch of contacts for them to work.
It's 24/7 floor time, more or less.
Yep. Yeah, totally is. Now, the other thing, let's give them the cool pro tip here. Let's say you don't want to route leads directly to a pond, right? You're afraid that if they go to the pond, they might not be responded to very quickly. So you want to continue to route leads directly to agents on your team. But if those agents are not following up, we've actually added, so if you're a team admin, you can go to your team, and there's an accountability rule now that will push leads back into the pond.
So if I go to Teams here, right?
Yep, click on Teams, go to any one of those. Well, it has to be a team that has a pond. Oh, we are in in an account where there are no teams.
Okay, just know that you can do that and set it from the team level though, right?
Yeah. So
Accountability.
again, if you go to the ponds article on support.insiderealestate.com and look for accountability, there's just a new accountability rule that says, hey, if my agents are not responding or following up with their hot leads, I want to push them to the pond. So you can push leads into the pond first, or you can give your agents first shot at them. And if they don't follow up within a couple of days, you can push them back into the pond.
And guys, what I'll do after this is with the YouTube replay, I'll try to get in the description time-stamped what we covered, and then we'll get the relevant articles for each one next to that. We do realize we're covering a lot. The purpose of this session is just to kind of give you the broad strokes. You can get familiar with what we've added here, and then you can circle back and kind of dig in on each feature later.
Yeah. So here's, let's see, do we need to keep moving then pretty quick here, Ryan?
We're okay. I have till 4:30. I don't know about your schedule. You have till the top of the hour, or?
Yeah, I will, I'll make it happen. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, we're moving along pretty good. So did that cover ponds pretty good?
Yeah, I think I'm just looking, we have a few questions in here.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea to cover a few now.
Let's see, someone did ask, what happens when a pond lead switches from one agent to another? Does the campaign restart? So when you push a lead into the pond, we actually strip the campaigns off of that lead. And if you have a campaign associated with the pond, you'll get that campaign. When you pull it out, it will get whatever campaigns you have as the agent. So yes, there is kind of some campaign switching that goes on when you claim it. That's why if you've never worked in ponds before, one of the rules of thumb is don't take something from the pond unless you're sure you're actually going to do something with it. Yeah. So the pond is the safe space. You can leave stuff in the pond and it's getting nurtured. But the moment one of those, they reply to an email or they respond to a text, someone's going to get notified and will click the claim button. And then it takes on whatever campaigns you have set up.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is you can actually see the interest here if they were searching properties and some other info. Ken, I think it might be interesting if we actually showed the source here like we do in the regular CRM. Just a suggestion.
Yeah. Where did it originally come from?
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I'm gonna write that one down as well.
Yep. But so let's get through a few more questions, guys. We'll take 5 minutes here. I'm just going to run through some of the stuff, guys, specific to your company or things that are support requests. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to glance over. We'll look at the transcript later and try to get back to you on that. Sun's getting real low. Thanks, Annalisa. Why do only teams have access to ponds? I'm a new agent. You will have the pond. It has to do with the way kvCORE is architected, right?
So in kvCORE, you really have two entities, right? You have offices and you have teams. So every one of you is part of an office, and every one of you can be part of a pond. You cannot set up a pond unless you're able to tie it to one of those entities, an office or a team. So if you would like a pond, you can very easily just go and ask your office admin, like, hey, can we get a pond for X, right? If you're just an individual agent working, there's not really any need for you to have a pond, right? Because all the contacts you're working are tied to you anyway. I would absolutely recommend just using hashtags to manage your contacts, right?
I'll do a little plug for our team add-on. If you do want the full pond functionality and basically what amounts to having something like your own kvCORE office install, then our team add-on is something cool to look at, right? And then you'll unlock all this stuff.
Yeah, it is. Even if your team is just 2 agents, there's a lot of value there, right? Because you do get some cool stuff. You get a new website, custom website, you get lead routing rules, you get sharing, and you get ponds. If Ryan and I were on a team, I might not want Ryan to have access to all of my leads, but we could certainly have a pond where we share a group of them.
Yep. So John's asking, are these all company generated that don't have an active agent? That's kind of the idea, is that the admin, the team leader of the company is generating from a source. They want to distribute them to multiple agents, but they want the hungriest agents or the ones who are going to respond most efficiently to get them. That's right.
That's a really good point. And you think about a team where you have some agents that are already so busy they don't have time to mess with lists and ponds, and then other agents who have some downtime who might, they might even go door knocking. It's like, don't go door knocking, just come here to the pond and start sending out some texts and see if you can catch anything from the pond.
Yeah, guys, we will email out the presentation later, and I think we got through most of the questions. Again, guys, if we're not answering, then it's just but we apologize. Maybe we're just missing it, or it might have been a support thing. I think Annalisa on our team is also helping out here and responding a little bit. So that's great. Thanks, Annalisa. So let's continue then. So that covers ponds. We only had a few left. I think, are we up to date-based campaigns?
Let's talk about the date-based campaigns specifically because, I've heard for over a year now, we keep getting requests. You guys want a campaign that doesn't necessarily just start on day one and then send out emails and text X number of days after day one. That works great when you're generating a new lead and you say on day one, I want them to get a text and an email, on day two, et cetera, et cetera. But some of you have come in and said, if I have a new lead that hits my CRM in May, I want to treat it differently than a new lead that hits my CRM in December. Date-based campaigns will allow you to do that. So you can actually set up emails and texts to go out on certain days of the year, certain dates. And then you can even have just a campaign. So if Ryan clicks on set up campaign when a specific date occurs.
Right down here.
Yep. Now you can do a specific date, or you can just do the birthday or anniversaries, right? So we added some cool birthdays functionality a while back. On your contact, if you want them just to get a text, an email, or maybe even just set up a phone call reminder for yourself to call all of your contacts on their birthday, this is how you would do that. Is you would use a birthday or a campaign that starts on the birthday.
So if you're inputting birthdays into the system, you can go and create a smart campaign, and then anybody who has the birthday in the system will get that campaign when the birthday hits.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. So you can add optional qualifiers, Ryan. If you want this just to go to certain hashtags or a certain status, you can add those. Otherwise, it's going to apply to everyone in your system.
Right. Cool. So status is not past client or something.
Also give a little shout out to some of our print partners like thanks.io, where it says campaign starts. Ryan, if you click on that, you can actually have a campaign start well before the birthday to give thanks.io enough time to print and send a card to your contact, right? So if you have a mailing address, you can say, hey, 7 days before, let's start this campaign so I can send a webhook to thanks.io, and they will actually print the card and send a happy birthday to my contact. So that also facilitates some of these integrations. Those of you who are geeks like me and you like to get in and play around with that stuff, you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, I love the purchase anniversary. This will go off the close date, I assume, that's put into the system.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I think it's called the last transaction is what the date is.
So how powerful is this, guys? You could do a 1 year. I guess it triggers on the first year or every year on the anniversary.
Yeah, it's just going to be on the anniversary. So this is agnostic of the year.
Right. We'll do it every year.
Yep, absolutely.
So we got to be a little careful about that. But what I was thinking was a core video that says, hey, can you believe it's been a whole year? Because most people don't remember the day they closed, right? Can you believe it's been a whole year since you closed? If you're thinking about if you're thinking about maybe buying your first investment property at this point, give me a yell. Or if you have any friends or family, I'm here for you. Ask for a referral or something like that. So very powerful. And again, this is tying directly into kvCORE's Smart Campaigns functionality, which gives you so much flexibility with when things are sequenced, what types, texts, emails, videos are being sent, and even postcards, as Ken mentioned.
Yeah. So we don't have to go into the next screen here, but after you've saved your campaign and you've got it started, when you go and add actions to that campaign, you can have actions that occur on specific dates, right? So if I say, hey, I want this to start on a certain date, but I also want emails to go out every year on March 17th, I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to all of my Irish heritage contacts or whatever it is, right? You can set that up so that those all happen on specific days.
Well, I got to see this. Wait 1 second. I'm going to set it up. All right. Campaign name.
Got to give it a name, Ryan.
I know. I always forget the description too. Here we go. All right. So I go into a campaign. Does it need to be that date-based one I just created?
Yeah, there was. Up at the
Where
top.
was it?
Starts with a D.
I forgot what I called it. I was going so fast. So you're saying up here where I say add action, or
yeah. Click email.
Okay. Oh, and you're just saying I can do it right here. I can select the date unit.
Yep. And let's see. Hold on one second. Did we click the right one? So I'll have to go check on this, but you should be able to actually select a specific date for all of these actions to go send.
Great.
Maybe you have two weirdly named campaigns.
Well, just know that you can do that, guys. We're going to keep going for the sake of moving ahead, but you have more date-based functionality built in the campaigns now.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, sure do. So, man, do we want to dive into Core Present, because that's a beast as well?
Yep. There's no chance Karen's on, is there? I doubt it.
Nope, we don't have Karen here with us.
We're going to figure it out between us, right? So
for those of you who don't know, Karen, who was the founder of Dash CMA, she joined our company last year. So we have Dash CMA, which she brought with her, which is pretty awesome. And we have turned Dash CMA into Core Present, which is a full-blown listing presentation tool. So I believe Core Present is available now. It can be purchased by teams and by brokerages, and individuals can go in the marketplace still and purchase Dash CMA today.
Let's talk about the difference. So if your company can purchase Core Present for everybody, basically. But if your company hasn't done that, then you can get Dash CMA, which is similar, just a little different, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So I'm going to go. We're going to Core Present now.
Dash CMA is just the CMA portion. Core Present has slides like a full slideshow presentation.
Great. Where do we start, Ken?
Great question. So real quick, there are three options here. You can see in the middle on that blue bar, it says win the listing, win the offer, or just present info. 90% of the time when you're in here, you're looking for a seller presentation. So you're going to click win the listing. That's where you get started. And then for those of you who have used Dash CMA, this looks familiar, right? This is a very similar interface. You start punching in an address.
Doesn't matter what. I was just going to pick mine. Here we go. So then you verify the details, right?
Yep. Again, you're just setting up the CMA portion of the presentation. So, and the beds and baths and things like that are for comparables. And then here, this is pretty cool. You can actually pick, the area. You can go ahead and do things like bed count, lot size, all of that stuff. If you want to narrow down the list of comparables,
that's basically what you're doing here is you're defining what types of comps you'd like to pull in, the criteria for the comps. So yeah, if you only want certain square footage, certain statuses, you don't, certain close date, it's really, really in depth. Karen is an agent and kind of built this out of necessity, and she really, really nailed it.
Yeah. And she's amazing, by the way. Karen works very closely with me, and she has some incredible things she's dreaming up to do next. So someone asked, how does this compare to like a Moxie Present? I'd love for you to use it, and you tell me. I think it blows it out of the water. I think it just has such a powerful CMA, and then we weave this all throughout the presentation. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, we're going to show you guys the presentation in a minute. This is kind of the CMA portion, but when you tie this to the actual listing presentation, it generates crazy. There was a question about the school district. I don't see that we can pull in school districts, but I could be wrong on this screen.
Schools are not in here yet.
Okay,
but they will be.
Cool. So I'm going to click Next Build CMA. And then it kind of gives you a timeline of the pricing, right?
This is honestly, guys, this is one of your most powerful screens. This is going to be part of your presentation. So the way that this is laid out is just so cool. It's got Zillow on there. It's got the highest. It's got the most recent. And you can even add other things, right? Like you can add flags in here. If your potential seller says something like, "Hey, my Aunt Martha said that this thing is worth, $600," you can go and flag that on there and say, "Okay, here's Aunt Martha." Right? So basically, this can just be all encompassing. It can include everything. The idea is you don't need to sell the price here. it's just going to become obvious by them looking at the data.
Yeah, it's a data focused approach to give them. You got the price per square foot, the average list price. Again, you saw me put in this Scotty Harris right here would be your opinion of the price. So you kind of flag it right in there. And then as you're walking through this presentation with a seller, you can kind of explain each of the specific comps. I think you can drill into each one in the presentation. See if I click here. You can talk about each one, and Karen's gonna be a little frustrated, Ken, because we're gonna miss about 75% of what this does. Just know that it does a ton. So in terms of being able to select comps and modify them and present the pricing story the way that you want to.
And if all you care about is sending this that you see in front of you, on the top right, you see you can save just the CMA,
Right.
Or you can now turn it into a presentation. And if we want to go ahead and do that, Ryan.
Yes. So I'll click create presentation at the top right.
Yeah, this is really the meat of what everybody wants to see, is how do we take the CMA and turn it into a set of slides that accomplishes your goal, right? And so up in the top left, before you start looking at all the slides, in the top left, you can choose an emphasis. And what the emphasis does is it kind of changes up the flow of your presentation. So if there's like, hey, we want to make someone list, or hey, this is, anyway, all the explanations are there, but you can kind of change up the flow and the tone of the presentation just by toggling one of those. You can also change the look and feel by clicking theme. Right now, this is our traditional theme, but you can go with modern or luxury. That way you've got a little more of a polished kind of brand almost on there. And man, Karen, just so you guys know, she has a background in advertising. And so her attention to detail on all the little nitty gritty things here has just been astounding. She's great.
And this to me is amazing. I don't even, the little bit I know about building stuff dev wise, just the fact that this presentation is dynamically pulling in the stuff in the CMA is crazy. And that's what's going on here, right, Ken?
Yeah. This pulls information from the CMA. It pulls it. If you go to why I am the right fit, it pulls information from my profile, my agent profile. It'll pull information. Yeah. There's a whole spiel about why even in this market using an agent is valuable. There's the market analysis. This like pricing correctly. We've done a lot of research and heard from a lot of you guys about how you're winning presentations. And again, agents that don't know how to win a good listing presentation, we didn't listen to them, right? We just found the folks who were really doing it well, and we pulled this from them, and we're offering it to you. Yeah,
I just want to quickly address, we're going to show you in a minute, guys. Yes, this can be emailed and presented on the web. So yeah.
The great thing is, so Ryan, in the top right, there's a thing that says web versus PDF. If you click PDF, this is crazy to me. This is one of the coolest things we built. Click PDF, and it flips the whole thing so that it's portrait mode and printable. Oh. So I still can't believe how our developers pulled this off, but it's everything that you just looked at, everything that you've edited and customized, and it just flips the whole thing and makes it fit in portrait. So if you want to do this and send them a PDF or actually print it out and take it to them, this is how you would do that. I would recommend using the web because we added some tracking code in here. We can tell you what slides the person viewed. And then at the very end of the presentation, if you go to the last couple slides, there's actually a call to action for them to click and actually sign your agreement. So you can attach your listing agreement and have them click to actually sign it right to your DocuSign or wherever you've got that.
I made a little mistake, Ken. My computer seized up a little, so.
No, you're good. You're good. But I think everyone gets the idea. So two things. One thing I wanted to mention here is if you don't have the time to go in and create a bunch of content, this thing already has it. Like we showed you that slide about correct pricing. All of that stuff is just in there. If you want to pull a slide out or change and edit a slide, you can do that as well. Yeah, go ahead and if you click rebuild.
Yeah, so here, guys, is some of your options. You can share the link, you can do the PDF, you can email it directly. I'm going to click the rebuild, as Ken just said, and I'll go to skip the presentation. I thought that the slide, this stuff related to the content, Ken, as you just said, where there's a lot of stuff that's pre-built, but the flexibility, which I'll show you guys in a minute, you can actually add in your own slides very easily. And in fact, I'm pretty sure the admin and from the top down, the office can add in slides and content that the agents can use all the way down to how slides are designed with brand, branding and logos and things like that.
So if we've got brokers or team admins that have joined us here, know that you can brand this for your team, right? You can put in your own custom slides and those will show up every time your agents build a presentation as well, right?
Yes. So I just clicked add a new slide and you can see there's some stuff that's kind of pre-built right here. And I can pick any of these templates and just kind of start going and add the selected slide to the presentation very easily in that section. Cool. Anything we missed, Ken, here?
I don't think so. I would just say, so many of us spend so much time in PowerPoint or Google Slides or whatever, trying to put together a beautiful presentation. Here we've said, here's a beautiful presentation. Now, if you want to edit it and customize it, go ahead. And remember, don't underestimate the power of that emphasis, right? If you say, hey, the emphasis here is that I just want to win the listing now, or I really want to prove why I'm the right fit, we're going to reorder and tweak some things in there so that you get your point across. So a lot of cool things we can do if you go digital with this presentation. I'm excited, and I'd love to hear, for those of you who have it, what are the things you're seeing with it?
And also mentioned you can do a presentation for buyers, right? To kind of show them the pricing story and kind of close the offer price or help them decide what to offer, right?
Yeah.
And you can present here if I just click.
This is great for recruiting, by the way. If you just want to have a presentation template saved to recruit folks to join your team, this is a place where you can do it.
So we're getting questions about pricing. I actually don't know, Ken. I don't know if you know. I think it's I really don't. I think ask your admins or your brokers to talk to their account manager to get it for the office. That's the best I can say, unless you know the pricing, Ken.
Yeah, I want to say it's like $30 a month. It's not very much on a per agent basis. So
yeah, and Dash is available, which is Dash CMA is just the CMA portion without the present. You can go find pricing info for that in the marketplace right now.
Yep.
So Aaron, I'll have your account manager. I forget who it is. I'll have her reach out to you, and for you guys to get a look at it.
Yeah, I think $30 a month is the price for Dash CMA actually.
So question now, where does this extract the comps? This will be tied into the IDX data, right, Ken?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. As a matter of fact, our big effort last year was getting over 400 MLSs, getting sold data hooked up to this thing. The nice thing is it's a lot easier for us to get sold data here than it is to throw it on your websites, because MLSs have a different level of restriction. So I think we have every major metropolitan area for sure, but even a lot of the little nooks and crannies of the US, we've got your comparables and sold data right
something here. Like 80% coverage in that range, right?
Yeah.
Don't hold me to that. Yeah. Cool. All right. So guys, we have a lot of questions. It's been an hour. I think we did a good job covering most of this. We understand that we went pretty quick, but the goal here was to, right, Ken, just kind of give people an idea of what we've done recently and added to kvCORE.
Yeah. Again, if I'm you, how do I get the most out of this spring release? The first thing I would do is I would go in and I would get to know playbooks, because you don't even have to have an active listing to go in and start to use a playbook. Now, if you are going to post stuff on social media, you are going to need agent permission for that, but you can get in and just contact matching buyers from your own CRM today, right? So if I know Ryan has a listing and I know I have some buyers that would be interested, I can go in and do that right from the playbook today.
Yep. And then Pons and Core Present, definitely talk to whoever the owner of your account is, whether that's an admin or the broker owner of your company. Talk to them, tell them to take a look at these things if you want to get access to these features, or you think they're a good idea for your company. Definitely do that. And if you have an account manager with us, just reach out to the account manager specifically on Core Present. They'll get you the pricing as soon as possible.
And I'm just looking through some of the early questions we had in here. You guys have been great. I think so. I think out of this, for my team, we found a few things where we could add some text, explain things a little better. We talked about adding a few fields into the pond account there. And let me just say, ponds has been a hit. We made this available starting Monday of this week. And I think last count, we had over 800 ponds that have been created.
Awesome.
And again, and a lot of you have said you're not even getting into the new kvCORE yet. So we did have one question, which is, how long is the old kvCORE going to be around? So our current target, again, we're having you folks get in there and use it. If we find any issues, we may want to delay this date, but in about a week and a half, so I think that Monday is May 17th, that's going to be our final checkpoint of, hey, how good does everybody feel? And we're going to push all of you who have access to the new kvCORE. That's going to become your new CRM. So get ready for that. We're excited for everyone to kind of move over. And for those of you who are saying you don't have access, we did have a few of those. Just know that we're working closely with your broker to have them get that enabled for you.
And Ken, I just want to say your team did an awesome job here. Everybody watching, this is a really ambitious. You said I was calling it a design, but that didn't do it justice. It's a re-architecturing, right, Ken?
Yeah, it is.
That sets the stage for a lot of fun stuff to come.
Yeah. You should notice your CRM is faster. If you don't, let us know. I mean, we should be faster in almost every way. There's some of you who have a ton of contacts. Those will still take a little while to load. But you should have noticed as Ryan was clicking here to the lead engine, to the marketing autopilot, all those pages just load so stinking fast now. So you shouldn't have to wait around for too long anymore.
Great. I can hang out, Ken. I know you're busy. I can hang out, everybody, and just take some questions. I have a few more minutes, or you can hang around, Ken. I'm just going to cruise through one more time, and then we'll let you guys all go. I just want to make sure you guys all get your questions answered.
Someone asked if you can create your own social media templates. So when you are creating like a landing page or a squeeze page, you can certainly customize and edit those. Landing pages in particular is an area where we're hoping to give it a nice little facelift here in the coming months. So keep an eye out for that.
Cool. Let's see. Dash CMA, that'll be in the marketplace. If your office, I think everybody has access to that via the marketplace.
Yeah, there may be some folks in Canada who don't have access to it yet. It just depends on your MLS, right?
Yeah. Chuck's asking, why doesn't a new kvCORE stick? I have to change every time. I had the similar issue, but that's just part of the transition, and it won't be like that forever, right, Ken?
Yeah, that's right. And if you notice in Ryan's browser there, the URL is different. If you just start going to app.kvcore.com, then you'll always be in the right place. But yeah, soon enough it will stick, and you won't be able to go back. So we'll just be patient with us. We'll get there.
Core Present is for it's for the owner admin of any kvCORE account. Do we plan, Ken, to make that? Is there a reason why we don't offer that as a standalone to agents? It's just
that's a great question. I think for now, Dash CMA is our agent solution.
Okay.
And Core Present has a lot of tools, as we mentioned, for admins, right? So setting up your own branding, your own custom slides that your agents can use. But yeah, we're certainly open to that feedback if there's a demand for it.
Yeah, Anita, you should be, but if you are an account owner, you should be able to add Core Present. So just whoever owns the account at your office, you can talk to them. This has all been released for the most part, depending on, there are a few brokerages that are hanging, but everything we showed today should be available for what, 75 to 90% of people watching, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think we mentioned the Wykert folks, that's going to be rolling out within the next couple of weeks. And for some of our friends in Canada, I know that's been a little bit slower as well. But yeah, I think 90% we're there.
Great. I think that covers most of the questions. I'll just say thank you to you again, Ken, and thank you to everybody who's been watching. Keep an eye on insiderealestate.com/webinars. We'll have the replay in that playlist. InsideRealEstate.com/Facebook group is our Facebook group. And remember, we do have a live training calendar in the main dashboard of kvCORE that you can click on to know when events like these are happening right here, as well as all of our weekly sessions around the agent success plan. So if you're looking to dive in with kvCORE, whether you're just getting started or you're a seasoned veteran, all the stuff that's going on is right here in this little calendar. All right. See you later, Ken. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.